Okay, there we go. So I really do want you all to take a second to be proud of yourself for your accomplishments, especially in this crazy year. You're applying to colleges by doing research online. You might not even have had the chance to come in person. You had to take your SATs and ACTs, and you haven't let any of that stop you from being accepted to Temple and being here today. So for that, I applaud you, and I think that you should applaud yourselves as well. You've done a lot of hard work to get here. So today is all about you, getting your questions answered, meeting the current students and faculty that will welcome you to campus, and hearing from our alumni who wish they could do it all over again. First, I would like to introduce you to CST's Dean, Dr. Michael L. Klein, who is an Laura H. Cornell Professor of Science. He is the Director of the Institute for Computational Molecular Science and Fellow of the Royal Society. So welcome, Dean Klein.
Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me, everybody? Okay. Yep. So welcome to Admitted Students Day. As you heard, I'm the Dean of the college, and congratulations on your acceptance to Temple University. Well done. I trust you and your families will have a wonderful time learning about what this great university has to offer. So over the next hour or so, you will hear about the remarkable opportunities that are available to you in the College of Science and Technology, which in brief we just call CST. At CST, experienced faculty will help you learn both fundamentals and the key cutting-edge ideas in biology, computer information sciences, earth and environmental sciences, as well as the core disciplines of chemistry, mathematics, and physics. Importantly, CST is the home of many sub-disciplines, such as data science, biophysics, material science, biochemistry, neuroscience, genomics, and much more. Notably, you will have opportunities to conduct real research as undergraduates with some of the top researchers in their fields. You will have access to advanced technology in doing that research. Importantly, CST has dedicated advising staff that will ensure that you get the education you need and that you graduate on time. Our professional development staff offers job fairs, resume reviews, and interviewing tips so that you can find internships, jobs, and enter the top graduate and professional opportunities that are available. During today's program, you will hear from CST advisors, from students, and faculty members. Please listen to their stories, and their advice. Importantly, ask questions. It is important that you take this opportunity to ask questions to get advice. CST is really your launch pad for education and career success. Whatever your ultimate goal, medical school or graduate school, pharmaceutical industry or environmental industry, the exciting world of data science and other top careers, CST is your best choice for your future. CST will really make a difference in your life, and in turn, you will make a difference in the world. Thank you for joining us today, and please enjoy CST's Admitted Student Day. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Dean Klein, for being here and for welcoming our students. I'm going to swap screen sharing with you, if you don't mind. There you go. Okay, great. So before you attended this event, I sent you an email that just had a little video that I made about some of the main advantages of studying science and technology at Temple. So these included being an R1 research institution, having an entire health sciences campus where you can participate in research and volunteering, our location in Philadelphia, and access to opportunities in Center City, and of course, the academic and professional resources that we provide. You will hear from many students and alumni today who use these opportunities to propel them forward. And first, I want to introduce you to two people who will be instrumental in your time here at CST. which will be Tom Price, our Director of Advising, and Rose McGinnis, Director of Professional Development and Director of our Data Science program. Go. We would love to hear from you, Tom.
So congrats everyone on your acceptance. We'll just tell you a little bit about what we do in the Center for Academic Advising and Professional Development. Academic advisors help you plan your courses, explore majors, research career opportunities. We assist you with building a support network of faculty, campus resources in the Temple University community, empower you to make your decisions and choices as they relate to your academic and professional aspirations. Our advising model is designed to best support your time from acceptance through to degree completion. We have a first-year advising team that will work with you now through the orientation process, your first semester, and the successful completion of your first year. Critical in your first semester, you will take our first year seminar, which is designed to help you understand the differences between high school and CST and Temple University, connect you to faculty, your peers, and the resources in our college, or orient you to your curriculum, and help you develop a individualized semester by semester plan for your path to graduation. And then we have, from your sophomore year through to graduation, 2 teams of discipline advisors, and they're divided by the departments. So the biology, chemistry, earth and environmental science department is one discipline team that sees all the majors, minors, and certificates. And the other one is for computer and information sciences, mathematics, and physics. And this allows you to work with advisors who will specialize in your area of study. We also have peer advisors that work in our office. They're trained on Temple policies, procedures, and they manage our virtual front desk, and they're a wonderful resource for you to ask your questions to. And then every major in our college has a faculty advisor who's really focused on helping you understand your curriculum, how that relates to your career aspirations, helps advise you on your upper level elective selection, get you involved with research and your plans post-college. And I'd like to turn it over now to my colleague, Rose McGinnis.
Good morning, everyone. So excited to have you all join us here today. Many years ago, there was a Temple campaign called Temple Made. And I always like to tell students, I always feel very Temple made. My undergraduate and my graduate degree comes from Temple. I was a parent of a Temple graduate, which I'm very happy about. And now I'm back here teaching at the university. So very much a Temple made, which gives me a long set of experience working with all of the various departments within our College of Science and Technology. So professional development is not just in April of your senior year, deciding it's time to look for a job. We make sure that we work with all of the students in all of our majors in a customized approach to specifically focus on those majors. So we have connections within the Philadelphia area for employers who hire environmental science majors, who hire biology majors. We have connections with all of the largest pharmaceutical, Johnson & Johnson, GSK, AstraZeneca, to try and place students in valuable internships within those organizations, which eventually lead to wonderful long-term opportunities. But professional development is something that we like to see start in your freshman year. So we have customized events and meetups and groups that we get together to start talking about how to build your resume, not just write your resume. What are the kind of things that make you unique? How do you build your personal brand? What makes you unique, right? We're going to graduate a lot of biology majors, but each and every one of you has a unique set of experiences and skills and goals that we want to make sure we're focusing on. So all of the things that we do are focused specifically around students within the College of Science and Technology. We have over 1,500 employer contacts, and best of all, we have managed to build a wonderful alumni network that helps us every time we ask them. And really that's, I think, a big reflection on how wonderful we have created, how great a wonderful professional development organization we've built. All we have to do, Danny says all the time, can you just call someone? And right away, we've got them. So the other things we do is we have customized job fairs just for students in the College of Science and Technology. So these are organizations that we've worked with for many, many years, who know our students, who know our programs, who have Temple alums within their organizations, and who come back every semester to continue to hire more of those interns and more of those full-time hires. And professional development within the College of Science and Technology doesn't include just internships and full-time jobs. For many of you, it's going to include, how do I best prepare for your medical school, dental school, pharmacy school applications? So we work with you to guide you to the right resources, the right research, the right opportunities that all of these organizations are looking for when you go to apply for med school or professional school. We also work with students whose goal is to go into PhD programs. We make sure that they've got the research opportunities that they need. We counsel them on what kind of skills they should build. We connect them with our Office of Fellowship and Scholarship to make sure that they're getting help with their personal statements. So again, all that we do within our professional development organization is geared specifically for our students and to make them as successful in the goals and the objectives that they're trying to meet when they graduate. I look forward to meeting every one of you. We have office hours, we have group meetings, we have all kinds of events, and we're looking forward to working with you. Thanks, Danny.
Thank you, Rose, and thank you, Tom. So now it is time to go into our department-specific rooms. So please find your major on this list. And if you were listed under main room, you will simply just stay in this room. You don't have to do anything. And if you are in a breakout room, I'm going to open the breakout rooms in a second, and you will hit select breakout rooms. And then your breakout room is called CIS, Math, and Physics. If you're undeclared, simply just choose whichever room fits your interest best. You can also jump in between rooms if you'd like. Breakout rooms 2 and 3 will be available throughout the duration of this event. And we'll have a member of the advising team in each room available to answer any specific or personal questions that you don't feel comfortable asking, or if you already know you're coming to Temple and just have some questions that you want answered. So I am going to open up the breakout rooms right now. Okay, so the rooms are open. So just a reminder, if you are biochem, biology, all these majors listed, you're going to remain in this room. If you are in the second column, you'll go in the first breakout room, which I have labeled CIS, Math, and Physics. And then rooms 2 and 3 are for first year advising or transfer advising, and you can use those throughout this entire event. So I'll give everyone just a second to join your room, and then if anyone is having trouble getting into a breakout room, just send me a message and I can assign you to that room. I can send you over there. So. Okay, so hopefully everyone in this room is who wants to be in this room. And if not, like I said, you can send me a private message. Okay, so now is time for the fun part. So we are going to hear from the people who live and breathe Temple daily, our current students. So we are going to begin with Amber, who is one of my CST student ambassadors, and she is a senior biophysics major. So take it away, Amber.
Hi everyone, I'm Amber. I'm a senior biophysics major and a Spanish minor. I'm originally from Lower Moreland, Pennsylvania, which is around like 30 minutes away from Philly, but I'm currently living off campus in order to attend my in-person classes. When I was a senior in high school, I honestly didn't really know where I wanted to go to school. I applied to mainly schools in Pennsylvania and then some outside, but I initially applied to Temple because of how affordable and convenient it was since I lived so close. I honestly didn't think I was going to go to Temple initially because I just wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. But after I attended the Accepted Students Day, I really fell in love with the school because of all the opportunities that they gave. For example, when I was touring, I got to see all of the resources such as like the library, the tech center, and all the on-campus research labs. However, the moment that I knew that Temple was right for me was when I spoke to a physics representative. When I originally applied to Temple University, I applied with the major of physics, but after speaking to the representative, I learned more about the different options that I had. So I switched my major to biophysics because it fit my needs more, because he explained to me how the different majors and interdisciplinary majors took different courses, and I thought that biophysics was best for me. And I love Temple because I've made so many new and exciting memories here. My favorite part of Temple University is the lab portions of each class. Labs were always the most fun and interactive portion of my classes. So I really got to meet new people and get to know my TAs in such a smaller space. In addition, since some of the lectures were so large, the labs were a great opportunity to meet new people and make new friends. We would make study groups and sit next to each other in class after meeting in labs. And specifically, my favorite lab memory was when we got to mate fruit flies in genetics. And although genetics isn't the easiest class to take at Temple University, it was still something I really looked forward to every day because it was so fun and very new. During my time at Temple, I also always tried my best to get involved. For example, the summer after my junior year, I participated in the summer undergraduate research program known as the URP. The URP is the undergraduate research program which allows CST students to work in research labs. And I really liked this program because when I initially looked for labs to work in, there were so many different labs available to me because of my biology and my physics background. So I specifically chose the one at Temple Medical School to learn more about medical research. And in this lab, we focused on nerve regeneration. Working in this lab made me realize that even though I want to be a doctor, I still want to conduct my own research in my future. This helped me decide that where I wanted to go to optometry school, which is in New York. It was a really long process and it was a lot because I had to get everything in order and it took a lot of time and interviews were like nerve-wracking, but CST helped me make this decision in so many different ways because they exposed me to a research environment. And in addition, with my biophysics major, I was able to pick upper level electives such as optics and biomedical courses that helped me gain more specific knowledge for my optometric career path. Also, when I became interested in optometry, I went to the Pre-Professional Health Services, which is the PPHS, and they helped me set my timeline and know what classes I needed to take and when. And when I was applying for the schools, they helped me gather my e-portfolio, which consisted of all of my necessary documents, such as my resumes and my my transcripts and my personal statement. They made it so much easier for me to apply because they had me gather that information before I actually needed it. And some advice I wish I could tell my high school self would be to keep an open mind. Many people come into college thinking they will stick to their major, but that's not always the case. And many things change over time, such as your interests. And that's what I learned from when I researched. So what I like the most about CST is that we are required to take courses within each department, which helps us truly understand what we like and what we dislike.
Thanks, Amber, so much. And congratulations again on being accepted to optometry school. I tell you all the time, but we're very proud of you and we know that you'll do great things. Okay, so next up, we have another ambassador. This is Emily, and she is a senior chemistry major.
Hi guys, like Danny said, I'm Emily. I'm a senior chemistry major. I'm from Elizabethtown, Pennsylvania. I'm currently located near Temple in my apartment. I'm really sad that I can't talk with all of you in person, but I'm happy that I get to do it over Zoom. I wanted to share a little bit about my journey with Temple. So I applied to Temple because I knew that I wanted a big school in an urban environment. I'm from rural Pennsylvania, so I wanted to experience city life, but I also wanted to stay in state. When I was originally looking for colleges, I wanted to be pre-pharmacy, so I was looking for schools that were known in that field. I toured Temple and fell in love with the campus and atmosphere. Knowing that I had additional schooling ahead of me after my undergraduate, I decided to go to Temple because I saw it as an affordable option where I didn't have to sacrifice my education for that true college experience. After taking general chemistry my first semester, I met with Dr. Price. I wanted to discuss my life plans and get some advice on how to obtain them. I explained that I was interested in research and drug development and how I loved being in the lab. And after listening to my interests, he suggested that I change my major to chemistry so that it would better align with my career goals. I'm really happy that I had the flexibility to change my major and receive the guidance that I needed. I share this story with you for two reasons. One, I think a lot of people might assume that Temple is a huge school where you get lost in the crowd, but your professors are here for you and they want to get to know you and help you achieve your goals. The chemistry department is close-knit and I have many mentors just like Dr. Price who've given me tons of advice and support. Second, I think another great thing about Temple is the variety of majors and programs. If I had chosen a school that was specific to pharmacy, I might not have been able to transfer out, or I might have been stuck in that program, and then I wouldn't have been able to pursue a different interest. At Temple, there are so many different majors. Even if you switch out of something totally different, you're going to have classes and support that you need. Something that I've learned in my college career is being a woman in the STEM field can be difficult, especially when you're trying to deal with imposter syndrome. If you don't know what that is, it's basically feeling that you're not supposed to be there and that you have doubts that you're not good enough. Last spring, I took my first graduate course because I'm in our 4+1 program. This is a program that allows you to get your bachelor's degree in 4 years and then your master's in 1. I was really scared because this is my first graduate course and I was taking it as a junior. I showed up on the first day and I was the youngest in the class and the only female in the class. And that's the first time that that's ever happened to me at Temple. So I was really nervous and I had these thoughts of doubt creeping in and questioning if graduate school was right for me, if I could cut it or not. I reached out to Dr. Willent. She is our youngest tenured professor in the chemistry department, and she has been an amazing mentor to me. She helped me work through these thoughts of doubt, and by the end of the course, I'm proud to say that I got the highest grade on both the midterm and the final. So I started research at Temple in the chemistry department at the beginning of my sophomore year. I was excited to do research and I didn't care what it was in. So I started working on a project that exposed these mesh frameworks of metal and organic materials to chemical warfare agents. Well, this is a really cool project. I wanted something that would be better for my career path. The College of Science and Tech sends out a huge research document with names of professors, descriptions of their research, what majors or year of study they're looking for. So I started emailing and interviewing with professors whose research matched my interests. I eventually ended up in the College of Bioengineering with Dr. Nancy Pleshko. I've been so appreciative of Dr. Pleshko. She's been an amazing mentor. I was able to get paid to do research over the summer. I'm currently working on my master's thesis where I use spectroscopy to evaluate the effectiveness of a certain class of drugs on a brittle bone disease. I'll be getting my master's in chemistry through Temple's 4+1 program. If you're interested, I applied for this program in my fall semester of my junior year and started taking master's classes in the spring. Temple offers this opportunity in a multitude of majors, and I have a lot of friends who are also doing this program. It allowed me to secure a first author publication as well as additional lab skills. I'm also proud to announce that I'll be starting a full-time job after graduation, as well as my master's classes. It's in the organic extractions lab at EMSL Analytical. I had wonderful recommendations from Dr. Pleshko and from Danny, since I was able to work for her. And both of those shining references secured me that position. I want to leave you guys with 2 pieces of advice today. Do not be afraid to ask questions. We are not intimidating people. We love talking, obviously, about Temple, and this is a really big decision. And we want everyone to be as informed as possible. Also, everyone gets that this college is right for me feeling at different times. I didn't feel that about Temple until 2 weeks into my freshman year, but obviously it was an amazing decision for me. Don't feel discouraged if you commit to a school and you don't get that feeling immediately. So thank you so much for listening, and I wish you guys the best of luck on your college decision process.
Thanks, Emily. I love that you were able to find so many mentors at Temple. I think that's amazing, and it clearly helped you a lot on your journey. Okay, so now we are going to switch things up, and we are going to hear from some alumni, so some successful alum about how they took what they learned at Temple, and now they're applying it into the real world. So first up, we have Nick Palmer, who is a graduate of biochemistry.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Temple. I'm, like Danielle said, I'm a graduate of the biochemistry major here at Temple. My hometown was from Cranbury, New Jersey, which it's a pretty tiny town. It's kind of near Princeton. And I just graduated last year, and now I'm still in Philly at UPenn in a graduate program. I kind of always knew that I wanted to go to Temple since high school, so it was my first choice. It was just the easiest option for me and my family. But also I really liked all the research programs at Temple. I was always interested in doing research, and Temple just has so many programs and options to do research in. So I was pretty excited by that. I came in as a biochemistry major because I was really interested in doing biomedical research, but I also kind of just like a bunch of different types of science, and biochemistry kind of just let me do that. Since you and a lot of majors at Temple do it, where you just like kind of learn a lot of different types of science to see what you're actually interested in. And I did keep my biochemistry major, but I also learned that I actually really liked math too. So I got a minor in mathematics. I was also really lucky to have been accepted into the Science Scholars Program, which lets you start doing research like as early as your freshman year. And through that program, I started working with Dr. Darius Balachunas, who does genetics research in zebrafish. We worked on a project where we're trying to discover some mechanisms of how zebrafish's hearts can regenerate, and hypothetically, far in the future, apply that to humans. And that was honestly really hard to start as a freshman because I really had no idea what I was doing at the beginning. So I guess some advice there is don't be afraid of research because you don't know what you're doing. I don't think anybody really does at the start, so you'll learn. So I worked with Darius for about 2.5 years, and I was lucky to get a publication out of that research. And at one point, Darius recommended that since I had been successful at Temple, that I might try to apply to an REU or something like that, and try to work outside, do some research outside of Temple. And I applied to a bunch of REUs, and I didn't get accepted to any of them. So I literally just cold emailed a bunch of professors at University of Pennsylvania. And one responded and said that he had a project that I would be interested, or that I was interested in. So I went and worked at Penn for a couple of years too. And I think that helped me really decide that I wanted to do this PhD program. So I also at Temple, I did a lot of clubs, and I'm interested in sports, or playing sports. So I was part of fencing club for a while, and that was a lot of fun. And I was also president of the karate club kind of randomly. So you won't at Temple, at least, you won't be just like constantly doing or you won't be too bogged down by your work to do other things that you find enjoyable too. So I really like that about Temple. Once I graduated, or I applied to the University of Pennsylvania's biochemistry and molecular biophysics program, because I got really interested in biophysics while working at Penn. And that's where I'm currently at, doing my rotations right now, doing my Zoom classes, and doing really cool stuff in lab every single day. So I think if my advice to you all is really don't be afraid to do research if that's what you want to do, and also really don't be afraid to apply to things because you're afraid you won't get them, because you never really know. I honestly didn't think I'd get into the Science Scholars Program, and that really kind of shaped where I ended up. So just don't really just don't be afraid. You never know.
Thanks, Nick. Thanks for sharing your story. It was really great to hear. Okay, and then last but not least, we have Danielle tomorrow. And Danielle is currently an analyst at NMS Labs. So we're excited to hear from you, Danielle.
Hi, everyone. I'm Danielle, and I graduated 2014 with my Bachelor of Science in Chemistry. And like Danny said, I am currently working at NMS Labs right now, which is a private clinical and forensic lab. My hometown is Frackville, Pennsylvania, and no one ever really knows where that is at. It's a very small town in Schuylkill County. And I applied to a lot of schools in Pennsylvania, really a wide variety, but I was going for pharmacy actually. And when I came to Temple's campus to do the tour, I really fell in love with the campus. And that's ultimately what drove me to accept Temple as my school. And they had a lot of opportunities as well. Like the city is just a subway ride away, lots of activities to do. And that was really something that spoke to me coming from a town that really had nothing. I worked instead of doing research at the organic chemistry lab. So if anyone is doing chemistry and you do the organic chemistry, I used to set up the labs, and I kind of helped streamline the process of, you know, getting all your glassware together and all the materials that you would need, and helping the coordinator kind of making his life a little bit easier and organizing it for him. And I absolutely loved the Chem Society. They also had a lot of opportunities. They always had guest speakers come out and talk to you about obviously things that you could do with your chemistry degree. A lot of people from Agilent came to talk. I'm pretty sure GSK came out to talk to us before too, and then everyone from the professional schools. And like I said, I came in pre-pharmacy, and I just remember sitting in one of my biology classes and thinking, this doesn't feel right for me. And I did a lot of soul searching and thinking, and I had always been very interested in forensics. I can't quite explain what draws me to it, but you know, watching NCIS was my favorite show at the time. Watching Abby Shudo like do all the stuff, you know, kind of draws you in. Not that my job is completely like that, but it's definitely interesting, and you get a little bit of everything. Temple really helped me build my fundamentals for my job. I always use all my general chemistry knowledge. And it's been really nice. I guess my advice to you guys would be, don't be afraid to ask questions. If you are not comfortable going to your professor, you have TAs for all of your recitations, which is a smaller portion of your big lab lectures. Or you could go to your lab TA, ask them questions. They are more than willing to help you out if you don't understand something. You can talk to them about their research, and they can help you find your way. I made very good friends with one of my professors. I still talk to him. I keep in touch with him, and he sends students my way sometimes if they're interested in forensics. And I would say that Rose McGinnis helped me a lot. I took a lot of her, not really classes, but the events that she did to help me build my resume, or talk about interviewing skills. And all of that really helps you. They really help build you up so that when you are graduating, you are prepared to go out in the world. Thanks.
Thanks, Danielle. We really appreciate you being here, and I'll definitely be asking you some more questions about your forensics work. So now we are going to let you students take control of this session. So we're going to do a little question and answer session. I hope that you have questions because we have tons of answers. So our panelists today are professors from the Biology, Chemistry, and Earth and Environmental Sciences Department. So we have Dr. Bob Sanders, we have Dr. Sarah Wengrenick, and Dr. Nick Devatzis. So as you can see, the different departments that they represent. So I do want to unshare my screen so that way you can see everyone's lovely face in the same screen. So again, so we have Dr. Sanders for bio, Dr. Wengrenick for chemistry, and then Dr. Devatzis for the Earth and Environmental Science Department. So I'm going to unshare now. Oh, whoops, not new share, stop share. Okay. So you can enter your questions into the chat. So I see that I already got one direct message, which is great. So you can either direct message me and then only I will see it, or you can put your question in the chat for everyone. So I first want to ask a question to Nick, Dr. Devatsis, in Earth and Environmental Science Department, because we just heard from such great speakers representing biology and chemistry, but I do want to give some love to our EES department. So Nick, could you just talk a little bit about the two majors that we offer, environmental science and geology, and then perhaps some of the differences between the two, and then I promise we'll get to the questions in the Q&A.
Sure. So I'm the chair of the Department of Earth and Environmental Science. We have two major programs, and then we support a number of other programs: the geology program and the environmental science program. Both programs have some related early coursework, and that allows you to sort of feel out your interests as you go. And geology focuses a little bit more on the underlying physical processes in the Earth, but it has lots of applications to the environmental applications. It gives you a really broad base and a deeper sort of physics, chemistry, math training. The environmental science program directly applies to all the environmental issues and sustainability issues in a similar way to the geology program, but it's structured slightly differently. So it draws a bit more upon biology and then other courses so that you can really pursue more discrete interests. In particular, we've introduced a new set of concentrations in that program. So we have a climate concentration, an applied ecology concentration, an environmental geochemistry concentration, and a hydrology concentration. The idea here is that you'll start out with this broad base because they all have a common core of courses, but then you can develop your interest in a specific direction that you might be interested in that relates to climate and how hazards are going to develop due to that and affect societies, about how ecosystems are going to interact with the physical understructure and hydrologic systems and applied ecology, for instance. And so you can specialize a little bit and explore those specific interests more deeply. And they're all engineered around delivering you with an entry point to various jobs in different sectors. They also all give you access to faculty. So we have students from all majors and concentrations who would be directly interfacing with both graduate students and faculty for research opportunities or opportunities to work and gain experience and skills in either a lab setting, through computation, or through field work. I mean, I'll conclude by saying Earth and environmental science is kind of like the ultimate applied science. We get to touch every other basic science and bring it to our understanding of Earth systems. And it also benefits from the fact that you can kind of do science the way you want through these classes, because we offer either a pathway to field experience and field work, pathways to more computational analysis, and pathways to actually working in a lab and doing really controlled experimentation.
Thank you, Nick. It's always helpful when you go over that for me too. It's a good refresher for me. Okay, so I am so happy about all of these questions in the chat. This is great because we want to be able to talk about what you want to hear about. So I'm just going to go in the order that they're received. I did receive a private message first. The student asked, can we double major with a major outside of CST? So I'll start by answering this, and then if anyone wants to add anything, you feel free. So the answer is yes, you absolutely can double major in a major outside of CST. You can also double major in CST. The only thing you're going to want to keep in mind is that depending on how different the programs are, it might increase the length of time it takes you to complete your degree. So for CST and all your majors, you're going to have required courses for your major. And if they don't overlap with the other major, of course, you just have to, make more time to take those courses. So typically students, I believe, can take up to 18 credits without it being like an overload. And each class, like a lab class, a class that has a lab component is 4 credits. And then other classes are 3 credits. And then I believe math classes are also 4 credits. So it just depends on how many courses you want to take per semester, if you take summer courses, things like that. And of course, it depends if you're coming in with any credits. So if you have any dual enrollment credits or AP credits. So the answer is yes, you can double major. It just might make your timeline a little bit different than someone who's doing a regular major. I don't know if anyone has anything different that they want to share to that, or. Okay,
Well,
great.
you might mention that we also have minors so that you can take outside, and they require less time on the courses outside of the CST.
Oops, sorry. That actually is a really great point. So minors are another way that you can get your field of study. And minors are about a 5 to 8 course requirement, whereas majors are, of course, much bigger than that. And then we also have certificates, which can be between a 2 to 4 course requirement. So actually, Amber, you have a major. Oh, Amber and Emily, you both have majors outside of CST, right? Why don't you tell us what your minors were, and then if that was easy or how that was.
Okay, so my minor is Spanish because I had AP credits coming in and they were just like sitting in my transcript and I was like, oh, what am I going to do with this? So I found out that I placed in like an upper level Spanish. So I was like, oh, I could advance more in my Spanish and also get a minor out of it. So it was really easy. I just walked into the College of Liberal Arts because it is in a different like college, and I like applied to pick up the minor, and it was a really quick and easy thing. The only thing you have to keep in mind if you have a minor outside of CST is that CST can't update you on your progress within that minor. You have to check in with the school that you're picking up that minor from. So I had to go to College of Liberal Arts to make sure that my minor is completed.
My minor is healthcare management. It's in our Fox School of Business and it was super easy. 3 classes, loved it.
Thanks, Emily. Okay.
Can I just quickly, I'll just say, as a double major myself, even though our CST degrees are rigorous and have a significant number of credits, you can really get it done. I was a double major when I went through and I picked up a degree in philosophy and a degree in geology, and there's not really a lot of overlap in those 2 degrees for common coursework, and you can get it done, and we understand how to help you do that.
Thank you, Nick. Okay, so I'm going to try to combine a couple of these questions. One question is, how much flexibility do students have in choosing classes? Do the gen ed classes take up a lot of time? What is the highest math you can get placed in as an incoming freshman? And then I saw another one and then the highest number of classes we can take as a full-time freshman. So first one I can answer is what's the highest math you can get placed into as an incoming freshman? So every incoming CST student will have to take a math placement assessment unless you're coming in with credit that covers Calculus 1. So that would be if you took like Calc AB or Calc BC and got a 4 or above, or if you have dual enrollment credit as well. So the first starting math, or not starting math, but I guess the highest math placement would be Calculus 1. But if you have courses above that too, then you'll just test out of other courses that might be, or other math courses that might be required for your major. And then I guess Amber, Emily, and then if anyone else wants to jump in, if you just want to talk about how choosing your classes goes with your advisors, and then if gen eds took up a lot of time, that would be good.
Okay, I guess I can start. Picking my courses freshman year, when you do your orientation, they give you a list of like the classes that you should start off with. So I followed that, but then I had a lot of open credit space that I didn't know what to do with. So I took a lot of my gen eds, my like freshman and sophomore year. It did not take a lot of time at all. They're really like easy and interesting courses. So it didn't even feel like, a waste of my time. So I think it's not hard to get like all your gen eds over with and then get to pick your upper level electives.
Yeah, it's also nice because you can balance out your heavy science courses. Like you're coming in, you'll probably be taking a math class and chemistry and sometimes bio and physics, and you can balance all of those courses out with a nice gen ed. If you want gen ed recommendations, you can always email us ambassadors. We're happy to give them. Yeah.
Go ahead, Nick.
So, my department actually teaches a number of gen eds, and I think the gen ed program at Temple is really valuable. You'll get exposed to some really interesting ideas that you may find jog your brain in interesting ways that you bring back to science. And I'll also make the point that we offer gen eds that satisfy requirements such as the race and diversity distribution requirement within CST so that they have a CST focus. So there's a race and gender in STEM course from Hidden Figures to Gamergate that talks about how these issues manifest in our disciplines. So you have a really big perspective on the history of science and how inclusiveness, where we failed at it, where we're getting better at it, and how to be a good citizen in the science.
Thanks, Nick. And so sorry, Brianna. We tend to speak in abbreviations here, and that's our fault. But a gen ed is a general education requirement. So all Temple students have to take a set of core courses, which include like English, history, diversity, world society, different things like that to make you a well-rounded student. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so some questions about like prep for medical school. So how are students prepared for the MCATs, and then how accessible are research opportunities at Lewis Katz School of Medicine? So Amber, why don't you talk about MCAT prep, and then how about Professor Sanders and then Professor Wengernick, if you want to talk about some of the research opportunities that you've seen students have both on the health sciences campus and then in your individual departments.
Okay, so with the prep for MCATs, I took the OATs, which are very similar to MCATs, but basically your prerequisites like Gen Chem, general chemistry, sorry for the abbreviations, general chemistry, organic chemistry, biology, and physics. They're like the base of MCATs and other exams, but I really didn't have to study that rigorously because of my professors. They prepared me so well for my exam. I even had like reached out to them, like thanking them, because even though it's really hard sometimes to balance your schoolwork and also keep like interested in all your courses, I really tried to go to office hours, understand thoroughly the courses, and it helped me in the long run because instead of just taking the courses to get an A, I took it to actually learn. And knowing that I had to take my OATs or an MCAT. So when you're in these classes, just make sure you go to office hours and you actually understand what's going on in the class, because then it will make your studying for the actual MCAT a lot easier.
Yeah, I can jump in here to follow up on that. As you know, I teach, so I'm Professor Wengernick, and I teach the sophomore organic 1 class, which is a big component of the MCAT and a lot of these preparatory exams. And myself, as well as some of my other colleagues that teach the general introductory chemistry class, make a really strong effort to, I think, like Amber was saying, just prepare you well for those courses so that the prep work is less later on, right? So, you know, try to give you the problem solving skills and the ways to analyze those questions so that you're ready when you get to those exams to think about those types of problems in a really like organized and critical thinking kind of approach. So I talk to my students that are pre-med a lot about that in office hours and things like that. You know, make use of your office hours and talk to your professors. That's what they're there for. And the more you connect with your professors, the more they're going to be there to help you as you progress through those next steps in your professional careers, because you'll need them. You'll need them for letters and support and advice and all those sort of things. And then what were we supposed to talk about now? Research opportunities?
Yeah, just research opportunities in your department or even research that you do. Right, absolutely. So, so there's a ton of research opportunities. I myself am a product of undergraduate research opportunities when I was an undergraduate. And so I think it's a hugely important component of your experience at Temple. And there's so many opportunities to get involved. So Barbara Fless is the coordinator of the undergraduate research program. So you can reach out to her and start in the URP. And then there's all these upper level programs as well. All of the labs in chemistry welcome undergraduate researchers. I usually have anywhere up to like 6 or so working in my lab alongside the graduate students. Most students that do undergraduate research in my lab end up with a publication. I have several that are off in industry working as medicinal chemists at Johnson & Johnson or GSK, or have gone on to graduate professional programs. I have some that are graduate students at Duke, at Yale, at Berkeley, Michigan. So, the students that do undergraduate research at Temple really go on to fantastic things. I don't know as much about the opportunities at the medical school, but I know that they do exist, and Barb Plus can be an absolutely fantastic resource for that.
Yeah, I can step in that a lot of biology students end up doing some research up at the medical center. We have plenty of opportunity in our own department, but we are a broad department. And so I myself am an ecologist. And even though undergraduate students that have worked in my lab and they learn molecular biology, et cetera, even as an ecologist, and several have gone on to dental school, medical school, et cetera, and are now doctors, we have other opportunities as well. But we are the largest department, have the most students in the university, and we don't have the most faculty as a department in the university. So being able to use laboratories up at the medical school, which is just a bus drive away, is very useful for the students that get this opportunity. And I just have to agree with everyone that said how important opportunities to work in a laboratory can be. You get to know your professors much better. You get to know graduate students, postdoctoral students, and you really learn in a different way than you do in your classrooms or even your laboratories.
Perfect. And Nick, did you want to add anything or?
Yeah, I think it's worth pointing out that, because Temple is so big, there are all these opportunities like Bob mentioned. And so, it's not uncommon, for instance, in my department, that we'll have students from other departments come in and do research that has health applications. So I'll just give two examples quickly so you can sort of see how that works. So Bojang Kim had some chemistry students come in and work in her lab, and she was interested in how nanomaterials, which are produced in abundance in industry, could be uptaken by plants and then make their way into the food chain that then affects people's health. And we don't really understand how that works yet. So she had students running experiments in her lab and also field sites to sort of see how this might provide entry points into the food chain that would affect health, right? And so that has clear direct applications. Another example is that David Grandstaff, who's a geochemist, and Dennis Terry, who studies soils, were interested in how lead is available in soils, and with the new urban agricultural push and local farming, how that comes in. You may or may not know that lead arsenide was one of the preferred pesticides in apple orchards in the past, and therefore it's really abundantly present throughout the environment. So what they were looking at again was, how do these things move through the environment? Do they get uptaken into plants? If you plant strawberries or tomatoes, will it end up in the fruit that you want to eat? Again, thinking about how these basic chemistry issues, these basic environmental issues then make their way into human health, and could even, for instance, relate to societal justice, since development of lead poisoning actually leads to more violent tendencies because it interrupts your thinking process, as well as your ability to manipulate things because it affects your nervous system directly.
Thanks, Nick. I'm going to answer one question quickly, and then I have a question for both of our alum. So Emma asked, as a pre-pharmacy and pharm sci, I am wondering how I go about applying for the 3+4 pharmacy program. So the application for incoming freshmen is currently closed, but you can apply in your once you're at Temple, and you'll apply through pre-professional health studies. There are a bunch of different paths that you can take for pharmacy. So please email me if you want me to elaborate on them. We also have some resources on the website that I can email to you. But pre-professional health studies will help you with all things pre-health. Okay, so question for Danielle, and then also Nick, you can answer it in terms of PhD, but someone asked, for the alumni, was it easy to get a job right after graduation? So for Danielle, job, and for Nick, accepted to PhD.
Yeah, so I attended 3 CST college job fairs at my time at Temple, and through those job fairs, I was able to build a relationship with our HR representative at the job that I'm currently at. And she was very willing to help me keep applying for positions in the company and finding things that would work for me. So for me, I don't want to say it was easy. I did put in a lot of work to build that relationship. But I feel like my story is a lot different from other people's, where I have heard that some people maybe do struggle a little bit more. I think it is a lot dependent on what industry you're trying to get into.
As far as PhD programs go, I don't, again, I don't, like Danielle said, I don't want to say it was easy, because I put a lot of work into my applications, and a lot of work into the research I did as an undergraduate, or yeah, an undergraduate. But I honestly, I sent out applications to a lot of schools because I wasn't expecting to get a lot, but I actually, I got interviews at a lot more schools than I expected. So I think if you do the work, and you'll get positive responses for PhD programs.
Also,
Sorry about that. Sorry, Emily. I was just going to follow up and say that, in part of the getting jobs after graduation, it's hugely important, like I said before, to have those relationships with your faculty members, so that you're not just going and applying cold to these jobs, right? If I have undergraduates in my lab or undergraduates in my courses that I know really well, they come and they talk to me and they say, look, I'm interested in going into X, Y, or Z industry. I know people in all of those industries, or I know my colleagues who know people. And so we just reach out via email and see what opportunities. And so that's how a lot of my students have ended up getting jobs, and students in my colleagues' labs as well. Establish those relationships with your professors. It can be hugely helpful at every single stage.
I was going to say, also use the resources that you have while you're at Temple. So, as a graduating senior, I've reached out to a bunch of our different professional developments. I've had sessions with them where they review my resume, or we talk about what I need to do, interview skills, where I'm lacking, and also since we couldn't have in-person job fairs, I have cards from when we did have in-person job fairs, and I reached out to recruiters from 2 years ago, and I was like, hi, I'm now a graduating senior. Do you guys have any opportunities for graduating seniors? And there was a resounding, really good response from them. So, yeah.
Nick, Nick Zavapsis, you can go briefly if you'd like.
I'll be very brief. The dean referred to this, but we have formal programs like the Owl to Owl program that helps you take advantage of alumni networks. And we have students who have moved on and become professors elsewhere. So there's a huge network. I want to sort of reiterate what Sarah raised. Your faculty, your alumni network is available to help you facilitate this process. And we have both formal and informal ways of helping you reach out through that network, and professional societies in our departments that help you do the development part, and the research aspect that allows you to present at meetings and go meet people and network there to get there. All those things are being integrated into our system here that you can take advantage of.
Thanks, Nick. I'm going to speed through some questions that I can answer quickly, just for the interest of time. Do a lot of Temple students matriculate to Lewis Katz School of Medicine? And then there was another question, I believe, about percentage of students that go on to medical school right after graduation. So pre-professional health studies doesn't have specific percentages of students that go on, just because that would require them to keep track of every student that goes on. I would say that the Lewis Katz School of Medicine is one of the ones that our students will definitely choose to apply to and to go to, because they've had experience there and it's right there and they want to stay within Temple. But students also choose to go to medical schools all over the country. I know sometimes it's comforting to hear a percentage rate for how many go on, but it really depends on the applicant and the experiences that you have. And I do believe that Temple offers so many experiences, as we've already mentioned here today, with research and volunteering and our location, that will make you a good candidate for medical school. We are about to wrap up. I'm going to just address one final question, and perhaps Dr. Sanders, you can answer this, but someone asked, where is it? Can you do the 4+1 programs? Are they available to neuroscience majors? So like the +1s for master's and professional science master's programs?
You can do a 4+1 with neuroscience. We don't really, it would be a master's in biology though, rather than neuroscience. You'd get an undergraduate in neuroscience and a master's in biology. And those are certainly available, and you can begin those. You don't have to begin that right in the beginning of your your freshman year. We do also have, and not just in biology, but also in chemistry and physics, we have professional master's programs, and these are designed to get you into the job market. And it's a 2-year program. And we have them in various areas: biotechnology, in several other areas, in writing, and in chemistry. So there are numerous opportunities to move on and make your education go through faster.
Thanks, Dr. Sanders. Okay, so we are going to call time. The last questions that I didn't get to, when can one study abroad? You'll want to meet with your advisor as soon as you can and let them know you're interested in study abroad, and they will help you structure your schedule. So that way you can either take a class, like a science-based class, probably earlier in your time at Temple, or if you want to take a general education class over the summer, whenever you want to do it, your advisors will help you schedule that. And then Kavira, unfortunately, the 3+4 MD track, that was a separate application. You cannot apply to that after your freshman year, but you'll still get all the same resources as a pre-med student, whether you're in that program or not. So I sincerely want to thank everyone for coming to our event today. I am so grateful that you asked so many questions. We love talking to you, as you can see, and we're so happy to know that you're engaged and you're interested in Temple. What I will say is that last month and the beginning of this month, we had so many department events, and I recorded all of them for you. I sent you all an email earlier this week with a link to those recordings, but if you missed it, you can always send me an email. As you can see my email on the screen, and I'm happy to send you any recordings that we have. There are still more sessions going on today that admissions and the university is holding if you just use that landing page that you had in your email. Of course, if this just convinced you that Temple is the place to be, you can make your deposit at any time to reserve your spot. You can make that on your TU portal. Again, any questions, send them my way. You can also visit us in person. We are now holding admitted student tours on campus. Register for those again on your TU portal under the events tab if you just hit register. And then hopefully I can meet with you on campus the same day of your visit. So thank you everyone for coming. Thank you to our panelists for your time and expertise. This was so great. Thank you to the students for coming. And I hope that everyone has a great weekend and stay safe. Thank you all.
Thank you, Danny.